Yo, what is going on, everybody? Executives here coming at you with the ultimate WoW Classic design survey for r/ClassicWoW. Now, this is obviously a survey about what changes Blizzard might make or implement into Classic servers when they release. It's basically a bunch of questions, and you get several answers of either yes or no or maybe so. And yeah, everyone knows what a poll is, so I'm just going to go over them in detail. Should Maraudon be accessible at the start of the server, added in patch 1.2 to a month and 24 days after the game's release? I said yes. Maraudon drops really good rings for warriors, including Blackstone Ring, drops Infractal Sword, the 1% crit sword for casters, so I would say yes. Dire Maul should be accessible at the start of the server. I would say no. Dire Maul came with a lot of items like Tarnished Elven Ring. I had a stroke there. Barbed Blade, just a bunch of items, as well as really good farming. So I think that should come at a later date. Should Azurgos and Kazak be accessible at the start of the server? I say no. Generally, I'd say 90% of these answers where people answer correctly, like no, on this is because that wasn't how it was on Nostarius or Elysium or any other previous private server. They've gone by patch by patch by patch, starting from the original patch with Battlegrounds, Molten Core, and Onyxia, and then they've gone Dire Maul, BWL, Emerald Nightmare, Dragon, ZG, and so on and so forth. Should the Gurubashi Arena event be accessible at the start of the server? This one's a pretty even one. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Gurubashi Arena, the only thing people want from it is the trinket, and that's really good for twinking. For 19 twinks, you get that trinket that absorbs damage, but other than that, it's pretty useless. Should Warsong Gulch and Alterac Valley be accessible at the start of the server? Now, this is the tough one, because on Elysium and Nostarius, AB, Arathi Basin, and Warsong Gulch were when the server first came out, and then they added Alterac Valley patch at a later date. So I think people might be confused here with the question. And so the question is worded: do you want Warsong Gulch and Alterac Valley at the same time instead of Warsong Gulch, Arathi Basin, and then Alterac Valley at a later date? So a lot of people said yes because they want Warsong Gulch, and a lot of people said no because they want AV to be released at a later patch. Should Blackwing Lair be accessible at the start of the server? No. That's a pretty good one, because if you have high level raids, higher tier content like tier 2, tier 2.5, and tier 3 released at the start of the server, then there's little to no point in doing Molten Core and grinding out Molten Core for a while. Yeah. Should Dark Moon Fair be accessible at the start of the server? I say no, because of the buffs that you can get from Dark Moon Fair. You can get a 10% damage increase. You can also get gear from Dark Moon Fair, like the necklaces and stuff like that. Should Zul'Gurub? No. Arathi Basin be accessible at the start of the server? A lot of people said yes here. I would also say yes, because Arathi Basin's awesome, and you need that rep for the good exalted items. Should Stranglethorn Fishing Extravaganza be accessible at the start of the server? I don't personally care. Should Dragons of the Nightmare be accessible at the start of the server? No. The reason for that is the Dragons of the Nightmare patch 1.8 drops a lot of nature resist gear for AQ. So if you're farming that at the start of the server, it's not going to be as contested as if it was when it came out. Should AQ 40 and AQ 20 be accessible? No. Should the war effort be a single time event or cycle? I would say a one-time event, just like it was in vanilla. It really wouldn't make sense to have the war effort be every once a year, because people don't realize you have to collect a lot of resources. Rune Cloth. I can't think of the other resources off the top of my head, but you have to collect a lot of stuff, and then you have to do the pre-quests and get the scepter. And I think people are just saying once a year because they're thinking to themselves, oh, I can get the Scarab Lord title and mount, and they're dumb. Should Naxxramas be accessible? No. 92%. That's good. Should Crossbone Battlegrounds be implemented? No. We do not want Crossbone Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds battlegrounds on your server are what creates the hate between the Horde and the Alliance, because when you go into a battleground and you see a person that might have killed you in World PvP, you're like, man, I freaking hate that guy. I'm gonna go try and kill him. So cross-server battlegrounds would ruin some of the community, in my opinion. Should the arena system be added at some point? No, I'm, Gladiator and Legion, Hero of the Alliance and Legion, and I don't want vanilla arena. As cool as it would be, I don't see a way that they could balance it with 50-second polymorphs, 40-second saps, with all the engineering items. I don't really see how it could work, to be honest with you. Would you like to keep dishonorable kills? Yes. People want to get rid of them because they don't know what they are. Basically, dishonorable kills when you kill a citizen in a city. So like a low-level NPC that's like level 15 that sells bread or something. Or like a quest giver. If you kill the quest giver, you'll get a dishonorable kill, and it will hurt you in ranking up the next week. Should Blizzard provide additional incentives for World PvP beyond what was in vanilla? No. I don't really understand what their question is. They're probably saying, hey, if you go out and kill 3 players in Hillsbrad or whatever, you can get 10 gold or something. So no, that would be additional content that people don't want it to be added. Should Upper Blackrock Spire be 10-man or 15-man dungeon? I say 10-man, just because that's how it was on Elysium. Should Strathholm and Schoolmance be 5-man or 10-man? This is actually pretty interesting. People want 10-man. 43% want 10-man. That would suck. 10-man Strathholm and Schoolmance would not be good, because a lot of good items drop from there, especially for healers, for casters, and for melee DPS. So that would not be good if it was a 10-man. Would you like to see Classic expansions implemented at some point in the life of Classic? Yes. That sounds awesome. Classic expansions? This is stuff I talked about in my previous videos, which was content beyond Naxxramas. And how cool would that be if you had content beyond Naxxramas, like Battle for Mount Hyjal, or something along those lines? That would be really, really cool. Should Classic expansions increase the level cap or remain level 60? No, you would remain level 60. If you went to 65, that might make sense if there was stuff, but no, that'd be pointless, because you'd implement it after Naxxramas, and then people who are still leveling for whatever reason would now have to get to 65. So I say no. You don't want to increase the level cap, because that's what the Burning Crusade is for. Should Classic expansions use other continents, or should all new zones be a part of existing continents? Use existing continents. There's no Northrend, there's no Maelstrom, there's no Pandaland or any of that. So you don't just use Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor as the only 2 continents. Would you like to see all inaccessible zones on Azeroth and Eastern Kingdoms become accessible zones in the future? Yes, that'd be really cool. They cover in the next question, which is pretty much the same thing. Would you like to see new raids and dungeons added that were hinted at during vanilla but never implemented, such as Grimpatol, Uldum, Hyjal, etc.? Yes. Battle for Mount Hyjal was that battleground that I've covered in one of my previous videos about GM places that you've never seen, and that would be really cool to see. Should new raid and dungeon item drops remain at below Naxxramas item levels, or go beyond Nax item stats? I say it would probably be remain at Nax level stats, not go beyond. The reason for that is because Naxxramas is the hardest content in vanilla. You need a lot of preparation. You need frost gear, you need flasks, you need world buffs, you need every single consumable available, even just to kill trash. So if dungeons beyond Naxxramas dropped better gear, then what's the point of doing Naxxramas? If Blizzard offers TBC servers, would you like the ability to copy my vanilla character to it? Of course I would. Classes were balanced throughout vanilla. Should class talents be earlier state or a later state throughout Classic? People say later state. Lots of changes happened to warriors, lots of changes happened to paladins, hunters, druids, etc. So people like that later state, just like it is on Elysium or Nostalrius. Would you like to see Blizzard periodically balance classes in the future? This is a huge surprise to me. A lot of people said yes. A lot of people said yes. 632 people said yes. That's really surprising. They want to see the Boomkins. They want to see the Ret Paladins. I don't know why. It's a little scary to see this though, because when people vote this, Blizzard is going to respond to this, and you know it's pretty much 50-50. I mean, it's in favor of no, but if this many people are saying yes, they are going to change classes. They are going to change the weaker specs: Boomkin, Ret Paladin, Prot Paladin, maybe Feral Druid later, maybe Hunter at very later games. You know, it's a little bit scary to see this, but we'll have to see what happens and what their official statement on it is. Would you like to see additional classes viable for tanking in 40-man raids, aka Druid and Prot Paladin? Now, people underestimate Druids. Bear tank Druids are actually a real thing. They've got extremely high armor, they've got really good fire resist, and they hold really good threat if they have enough hit and attack speed. So, I mean, it's definitely underestimated, especially if you have a good Druid tank. Oh, they're phenomenal in 5-mans and in 40-mans. Should Battlemaster exist to queue in BGs? Yes. Would you like to see dual spec offered? No. I would not like to see dual spec offered. The reason why I would not like to see dual spec offered is, first off, it wasn't implemented in vanilla. Second off, it's not on Elysium, and third off, there would be no respec costs if you had dual spec, because most classes only are viable with either one or two specs. For instance, let me say warrior. You either are Fury for PvE or your arms for PvP, and if you're a tank, you're either tank for PvE or your arms for PvP. So I would never have to respec, and I would never have to waste gold on that. So I would not like to see that, because by wasting that gold to respec every week, you know, some weeks I don't respec because I don't have enough gold or I don't have enough time, and so I'd have to go into PvP as prot or something. Would you like to see guild banks offered in vanilla? A lot of people said yes. This is another interesting one. People like in my guild on Elysium, we have a separate guild, separate level 10 character with every single bag, 16 slots, specifically for the guild bank, and only the guild master has access to it. So I think people want to see a guild bank as you know, so they could see what's in the guild bank, so they could contribute to the guild bank a little bit more and not feel left out, I guess. Would you like to have personal bank sizes expanded to prevent the need for multiple alts? People say no, but that's interesting. They say yes to guild banks, but no to personal banks. I mean, I have, 3 bank alts, and almost all of them are like not full bags, but almost all of them are used for different things. Like I've got a herbalist bank, I've got a mining bank, I've got a consumable bank, and they've all got almost all their bags full. So yeah. Would you prefer a lower maximum respec cost? I say yes. I want to see a lower maximum respec cost. 25G is reasonable for a respec, because I have to respec almost every week. If I want to go arms in PvP, that's 25 gold. If I want to go Fury, if I want to go Prot, that's 25 gold. And to switch back from that, that's a combined total of 50 gold, as opposed to a combined total of 100 gold. 100 gold is a lot of gold, and I don't think people realize what they're getting themselves into. I don't know, maybe they do, but 100 gold is a lot to respec every week. Would you like to see flying mounts? 97% said no. Good. Dungeon fighter? No. LFR? No. Meeting stones? No. That eliminates the purpose of a warlock on Alliance. Should auction house exist in every capital city? Every capital city, yes. Not just Orgrimmar and Ironforge. Should auction houses be linked? Yes. Additional flight paths? No. I say additional flight paths? No. Should flight paths be linked? Yes. Back in the day, before 1.1, you had to fly to one flight path, then to the next one, then to the next one, and then the next one. You couldn't just click one and then you would go there. What level should be required for non-epic mount? 40. Yes, that's pretty much unanimous. Should you be... So this is another controversial topic, is the loot and auto loot. Should you be able to pick up... Should loot be pick-upable automatically without having to click on the item in the loot window? Loot had to be clicked in the loot window in order to be picked up in vanilla. I don't know. They're not really specific enough. You can have auto loot if you hold down shift and you right click, then you're allowed to pick up all that loot. So I don't know what they mean. I would prefer the question of AoE looting. Can I loot multiple mobs at once? Should raids have dungeon timers? Yes, I am not really sure what that is. I think that has something to do with trash respawning. So, I don't know. That's probably another controversial thing right there. Should molten core be accessible only through back BRD or via accessible teleportation? I think teleportation. If you want to have 40 people running through Blackrock Depths, that's just a waste of time. Should vanilla style wall walking be permitted to explore content otherwise inaccessible? I say yes. I've used it to get to a flight path, to jump over some mountains to get to a flight path. Should wall walking be permitted in battlegrounds? No. Should donations offering different types of cloth be permitted to increase reputation with the given faction? Yes. Should weather effects? Yes. Leveling rate, would you prefer 1 times? That's another unanimous vote. Would you like an option to pay $15 a month to double your leveling rate? No. That's a very stupid question, and that question worries me a little bit. Would you like an option to display updated graphics from later expansions? I say yes, but go with old default graphics by default. I can't even speak. But go with old graphics by default. So if they have updated graphics, that's fine, but just make it an option, and you'll solve everyone's problems. If people want Legion graphics or WoD models, they should be able to click it on and off with the button. Would you like to see an option to increase terrain visibility beyond the default found in vanilla? A lot of people said yes, and that's pretty much it. So the summary of this survey is a little bit worrying. So far, a lot of people don't want to see stuff changed or added, like flying, or changed back, reverted to old settings like 15-man dungeons and stuff. But people want to see class balances, and that's a little bit worrying. But you know, this is not official yet, even though this is an official post by a GM or Blizzard themselves. We will have to see what they do and what the outcome of this is. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Sorry for the really long video. I just wanted to go over each question individually. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.